It's supposed to be the trip of a lifetime, endless buffets, blue water stretching to the horizon, music drifting from the deck as the sun melts into the ocean. But for some passengers, that dream turned into something far darker. Because once you're hundreds of miles from land, there's no escape. Our first story takes us aboard the Carnival Ecstasy, 2016, a woman, mid-30s, celebrating her birthday with friends. The night was filled with laughter, dancing, and drinks. But as the ship sailed through the Gulf of Mexico, she leaned over the railing to take a photo and vanished. Passengers nearby screamed, but by the time crew members rushed to the scene, she was gone. The ship stopped, searchlights swept the waves for hours, but nothing. Only her phone was found on deck, screen cracked, camera still open. The ocean, silent, had swallowed another secret. Then there was the case of the MSC Opera in 2019. Passengers reported strange noises at night, banging, footsteps, and faint knocking sounds coming from the walls of certain cabins. At first, people thought it was just the ship's machinery, but then came the smell of foul, metallic odor seeping through the vents. When the ship docked, authorities discovered a maintenance worker who had gone missing days earlier. He'd been trapped behind a wall panel during repairs. The cruise continued for 4 days before anyone realized he was gone. Another nightmare unfolded on the Costa Concordia, one of the worst cruise disasters in modern history. January 13, 2012. Over 4000 passengers were dining when the ship struck a reef off the coast of Italy. Lights flickered, dishes crashed, alarms blared. Within minutes, panic consumed the decks. The captain abandoned ship before all passengers were safe. 32 people never made it off alive. Survivors say the sound of the ship tilting, the screams echoing through the halls, still haunt them to this day. But horror doesn't always come from disaster sometimes. It's the mystery. In 2004, aboard the Brilliance of the Seas, a newlywed couple vanished during their honeymoon. Their friends said they'd gone for a walk on deck around midnight. Security footage shows them near the rail, talking quietly, and then nothing. The cameras cut out for exactly 12 minutes. When they came back online, both were gone. The investigation never found a trace. Some passengers claim to have heard crying near that same railing in the nights that followed when no one was there. Not all cruise horror stories end in tragedy, but some reveal what's lurking behind the luxury. On one ship sailing through the Caribbean, passengers began getting sick, violently ill, one after another. The crew announced it was just a mild virus. But what passengers didn't know was that the outbreak had started days earlier, and the ship's management kept it quiet to avoid panic. By the time they reached port, over 300 people were infected. The ship was disinfected, but rumors spread fast. Some claimed crew members had been told to keep cleaning even after getting sick themselves. Then there's the haunting of cabin 8235, a room so infamous among certain cruise forums that people refuse to book it. Multiple guests have reported the same thing, knocking from inside the walls at 3 a.m., the bathroom light flickering by itself, and the sound of running water when the faucet is off. One woman said she woke up to find her balcony door wide open, even though it had been locked from the inside. The ship's staff never confirmed anything unusual, but the cabin remains a quiet legend among regular cruisers. In 2018, aboard the Norwegian Sun, a passenger recorded something chilling. Late at night, he went to the top deck to film the moonlight over the water. In the distance, he saw what looked like another ship, dark with no lights, but radar showed nothing there. He zoomed in, and for a split second, the reflection of a figure appeared in the water beside the ship. When he looked up again, there was nothing. The clip went viral, earning the nickname the Ghost Ship at Sea. Another terrifying moment came when a storm hit the Anthem of the Seas in 2016. Waves reaching over 30 feet smashed against the hull, wind howled through the decks, and furniture flew across cabins. Passengers huddled in hallways, praying. One described it as being trapped inside a washing machine. The ship tilted violently, glass shattered, and for hours everyone thought it was the end. When the storm finally passed, the ship limped back to port, bruised but still afloat. But sometimes the scariest moments happen in total silence. On one luxury liner, a crew member went missing during a voyage through the Pacific. The official report said he fell overboard, but other staff whispered that he'd been caught stealing from a safe and planned to confess. His belongings were found neatly folded in his locker, but no one ever saw him leave the ship. A week later, the passenger who'd shared the same hallway told reporters she'd heard footsteps outside her cabin every night around 2 a.m., long after curfew. Footsteps that stopped right outside her door, then faded away, and maybe the most chilling of all, a story shared by a retired cruise engineer. He said that late one night, the ship's alarms went off, but not for fire, not for power failure. For water intrusion. The lower deck had flooded suddenly, with no clear cause. When divers checked the area, they found the watertight door had been sealed. From the inside, whoever closed it never came out. The record showed no crew assigned to that section. Since then, he said, every time that ship passes the same coordinates, the sensors pick up movement on the lower deck where no one should be. The ocean holds its mysteries calm and endless on the surface, but dark and merciless underneath. Every cruise is a reminder that once you leave shore, you're at the mercy of the sea. Maybe that's why we're drawn to it, the thrill, the danger, the beauty, and the unknown. So next time you step onto a ship, take a moment to look at that endless horizon and remember, for every perfect vacation story, there's another the cruise lines don't want you to hear, because sometimes paradise floats on the edge of nightmare.